I appreciate you kindly. Kindly. Thank you. Yes, everybody. What's up? I miss you guys too. I definitely want to say that I miss you too. And I have a guest that's coming in the building very soon. And I am letting her join. This is just our in-house expert here at the platform. And hey, shout out to you, Kim Scott.
Hey.
So I'm gonna just start off with saying, like, I'm definitely not out the loop, but we haven't put a lot of I don't know if you've been putting your back and forth stuff, but let me know if you can still hear me. Give me a
I can
okay
hear
if you can
you. I
still hear me.
got you. Yeah, I got
You
you.
can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Or am I muted?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I got you.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so we haven't been really out the loop. So we want to talk about first elections. President Donald Trump just finished doing a live where he basically we'll talk about the war, more towards the end, and we'll get to a lot of the meat on the bones on that. But hold on, let me see something. Let me see.
I got you. I can hear you.
On a real quick. So today it was just announced that the feds went into Arizona to go take illegal ballots.
Yep, they did. The Senate President Warren Peterson, Republican, they had done the audit and they confiscated those ballots. They did it secretly, very quietly, no real heads up to the press or yeah, that's a continuation of what they did in Fulton County about 6 weeks ago. So, uh,
Do you
and
think
I'm
that it could be Moderno? Do you think it could be the Moderno connection, knowing that he's over there squealing like a pig and basically um, telling
Maduro.
them everything? Yeah. Do you think it could be because of Maduro? I'm sorry, I can't. I'm from
Um,
New York. I'm not going to be able to pronounce this guy's name right. If it was,
it's
if
okay.
my life depended on it, it would be over.
Yeah, it's all right. Maybe. Um, I I I think that they're more effective to do investigations when they do it quietly. It sort of takes the temperature down. It gives them the opportunity to focus, keeps kind of the media at the spotlight out of it. We do have the Iran conflict, which has really sort of got the media attention over there, and it allows them to dig deep on it. And it's interesting because mainstream media coverage of this is actually very straight news. There's no weird spin, conspiracy, none of it. It's straight reporting. I mean, I'm looking at MSN and I'm just shocked that it's straight news with no spin at all. So there's definitely merit to this. And they really are trying desperately not to draw attention to it. And yet they're still covering it, which I think is fantastic. So I'll be very curious to see what comes out of this.
What's going on with the Save Act? What's the news with the Save
So the
Act?
SAVE Act has been passed through the House for the third time. And they've made a couple of extra provisions. I don't know if you're aware. They had the general framework before about obviously voter ID, et cetera. They were very specific about the mail-in voter aspect of it, who was allowed to use mail-in, if it was, you know, military, people who are out of the country, elderly, people with mobility problems. But interestingly, there's some extra provisions that are added to this version. And Trump really put his foot down and he said, I will not sign anything. He was actually asked today in the press conference, I don't know if you saw that, if that included the DHS appointment of Mullins and Mark Wayne Mullen and any other the funding of DHS. I He didn't really answer it. He sort of skirted it, but one of the really cool aspects of it is they rolled in some protections for children, as well as um, beyond the voter registration process. It's not just bring your you know your photo ID. It's you have to prove citizenship before you even get registered. It does have a mandate for looking at the voter rolls as well. So they really have to clean, with some discipline, the voter rolls. Um, and there is criminal prosecution for election officials who don't abide by the provisions of the SAVE Act. And then we add the child element, which is transgender alteration of minors, be it chemically or surgically, as well as even adding in the men and women's sports. I mean, he kind of threw the whole, he said, we're going to go for the gold. That was basically the way he referred to it. So they got that through the House. And we're weighing the John Cornyn, Ken Paxton endorsement. It's sort
Hmm.
of one of those little carrots they're dangling in front to get the endorsement on that. And I think that's a really interesting little twist. I don't know if you saw any of the coverage on Ken Paxton, but um,
I wanna move on to the war because we
oh,
got about like 10 minutes left in the
okay,
show, right?
okay.
Okay, so a ton of people on MAGA is pissed. A ton of people are upset. A ton of people are saying that the president is doing this because of this interest and that interest. And like I've said on social media, this is how I feel, right? It should have been happened if anybody is a threat to us. I feel like there's no time to waste, but there's nothing but space and opportunity, right?
Hmm.
Um, but there are a lot of people who are still, locked in with the president. And all in all, I don't think that people kind of understand that there was so many things about the ingredients of as to why this took place in the first place that right now, as even as people said there was going to be an ongoing war and it was going to be an ongoing conflict, and our men and women would be abroad, and it would just be something ongoing. It's pretty much already over.
It's very much over, actually. Um, so many developments with this. The premise of it is much broader than really, anybody is covering. People are just looking at, oh, we're in harm's way and what's in it for us. But they don't realize that this is a very America first move. It is well beyond the mistreatment of women in the society or the protesters that were being executed by the tens of thousands, and the oppression that they've lived under since for 47 years, since the late 70s. It's so much bigger than that. And it is even beyond, because I know a lot of people were saying, oh, there's ego attached to it with, you know, inserting himself in foreign wars. But it really is about stability and the economy. And I know his from watching him for this many years and even before he ever got into
He had to
politics.
stop China. He had to stop China.
He had to stop China, but
He had to stop China.
he's never been about the forever war. It was
No,
about an exertion of strength
people
and
don't really
getting the
understand
house.
that this
Yeah.
was Israel' opportunity to finally get their you know what off. You know what I mean? Like it was their way of piggybacking. People will say like, oh, Israel intended it up. We can honestly say that Israel hated them all along, and that's cool. That's fine. But if it was really like that, then they could have struck or did something months ago or the first month that the president got in office. I don't think people really understand that after even striking them, they kept trying to tell the dude like, yo, go into exile, give yourself up. blah, blah, blah.
They gave
All
him
right, and
chances.
then
Yeah.
what it becomes is a real demonstration, because I think that people have very short attention spans, and they forget how close we were for basically being overtaken. You had a balloon being flown all over the whole country so they can turn this whole thing into providences. There is just no way in the world China would be making moves to create a currency to rival the United States had not all of these other countries been colluding against the United States, trying to deplete the dollar. Not just that, but just trying to destabilize the nation as it is. Once you destroy all trade routes, once you have mass hysteria here with people that are clearly armed up to the wazoo, you're gonna have a ton of things here that people never will want to see in their whole entire lifetime. Because then they already have us divided.
Right.
Every time you go on social media, everybody is talking about something that they hate, or they hate people, they hate this. It's just hate, 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 hate. It doesn't matter what it is. The moment that you go on there, that's exactly what's happening. They
Right.
already have the nation divided. They don't understand how close we are to giving all of it up. And you can say what you want. It's easy for you to have a grievance when you don't understand how worse it can be and how worse it can get, especially when you're not trying to fix the issues. People are coming online, Kim, just to argue, just to find something to argue about. I don't really see people coming online saying, hey, you know what? Let me try to go to somebody who's thinking differently or whatever, and let me go to try to find something that we agree on so we can try to work on something to change something. It's not about that. They have perverted this nation. I'm glad the president is saying he want to go back to God. He want to put God first. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
very important. But also, I think it is important that we start to try at least to unify the country. There are a ton of people that are here that are mentally disturbed, that are one of the things that did actually unite the nation a little bit was what happened in New York, because you had people who were in New York who were talking like, dad, this and the third. Next, a guy got a la 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 bumba, and he's talking about letting it go off, and then New Yorkers are reminded again of 9/11. So
Yeah.
this really got New Yorkers looking now differently. Like, nah,
Well, I mean, I don't know, there was some reporting today about prayer rugs being put in front of the monument to the firefighters that lost their lives in 9/11. And people outwardly, Mondami talking about all of the mosques that are popping up in New York, and how they're really trying to turn the entire city into that sort of a haven. But the it's hard. The Iran issue is very broad. It has economic, long-term economic implications for the country, as well as it's not just a flex, or he's trying to take his ego, or us getting dragged into the Middle East by Israel. We are getting control of for over 45% of the world's oil reserves, which kneecaps the nefarious actions of our adversaries. And that is the race with China to AI, Russia. It affects Ukraine. It affects the stability with the proxies
but
and proxy
and the
wars.
middle
It's a lot.
and the chips and the minerals for the chips,
And the
because remember,
minerals. That's what Greenland was about.
China was stockpiling them.
Yep,
Yes, and stockpiling the silver.
you bet. Well, there's 17 different minerals they need to make those chips, and all of the renewables that they're leading on. But they wanted to convert. They wanted the dominance of the yen to take over the dollar. They wanted all of the oil currency to be in the Chinese yen and not in the dollar. They
Mhm.
want the control of the Strait of Hormuz, which is the lifeblood flow of all uh, energy flow, crude, whatever, all over the globe. It has to go through. So there's so many levels of this. You can't boil it down to just, oh, we're being dragged into this war by the nose, by Israel. It's so much bigger than that. And it's very easy to just fall into that argument. Yeah, that's what it is. It really is. But
I think that when people, this is what I want to say before we get out of here, right? For a lot of people. Yeah, I'm not telling nobody not to believe whatever it is you want to believe, but I'm also going to tell you it really benefits you to hear the arguments that refute the things or go against the things that you are hearing. Do you
Mhm.
understand? Like, and I'm not saying that in terms of like the war or anything else. I'm just saying online in general because there's a lot of things that I see people reposting and it's AI. It's
Completely.
not, like I just need to say this because right before this started, I've literally seen so many different like AI sources, AI, and there are really people like it was on Facebook.
Mhm.
I was just on Facebook, and it was really people who are believing it. And even my mother sends me stuff thinking that it's real and it's AI. You know what I mean? So for a lot of you guys, man, if you see something, please just make sure that you're not watching no AI and don't go online and start arguing over something that you seen that was AI because I mean, as far as the war is concerned, I feel like a lot of everybody, there's truth in everyone's argument. I think that the most important thing for us to do as a nation is to not be angry with one another because we don't agree on everything all the same way, but find the most uh, important things that we agree on that we feel like we all can change or we all know that we all need as a people that you, your family, my family, everyone's family needs. And I think that we need to discuss that because once we discuss that and we talk about the things that we need, everyone needs, we will want to work together. And the moment that we want to work together, I believe that everything is going to change. I'm sorry that the way that the world is the way that it's been for you because it's been that way for me. It's been that way for her. It's been that way for all of us. We didn't make the.
Hmm. Ooh.
Can you hear me still?
I
Sorry.
got you now. You had a
Okay,
little
I got a phone
interruption.
call. I don't know if
Yeah.
somebody called me. Um, But yeah, well, we were given this world, we didn't make it. A lot of you out there, uh, continue to fight on, continue to search for the truth. But just make sure that you just try to your very best, find something that you can agree on with your fellow countrymen and women, and try to find what you need that you guys and we all can work on together because um, to continue to be divided is really not benefiting any of us at all in any way, shape, or form. Please put your thoughts in the comments. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the war. Do you think that we missed anything? Was it is it even more people? Do you think that yes, we know that there is old nefarious people who had nefarious ideas, but do you think that Donald is still with the old order, or do you think that he's ushering in a new order? Tell us in the chat. And this is Kimberly Lee right here, the beautiful Kimberly Lee, our expert analyst. I'm talking about the person behind the scenes, making sure that we have all the data and all the information. And I want to say thank you so much for being here, Kim.
My
This is my
pleasure.
manager. This is the lady behind everything. We got new merch coming up, so make sure you guys go to the store. If you have any
Please.
merch for any ideas for merch, please make sure you put it in the comments so we know. And we'll be back tomorrow, and she'll be back tomorrow because
All
we're gonna
right.
read the comments. We're gonna go on X. We're gonna read the comments, and we're gonna come back in here. And we're gonna talk more about the conflict that was people's forever war, and then we're also gonna talk about moving forward plans to be able to make sure that Americans here have the opportunity that we once did when we were children. You want to take us out of here and say anything to them before we get out of here, Kim?
I like the message of unity, and you know what? When you read something, don't just take it at face value. Do a little bit of work and come armed with information because knowledge is power. And at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want a nice life and to get along and be prosperous and have healthy children and family. I mean, that's what life's all about. So,
Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here and tuning in. And again, she'll be here tomorrow. So put your questions in the comments. Make sure you hit us up in the comments. We'll be back tomorrow. Good night.
good night.
Peace.